Nice, nice. It's nice to be here again. I mean, last week we were here, and this week again we're here. You know, last week we did speak about something that that is pertinent to all of us as youth. Misconstrued or misconceptions on particular Bible passages, and Marvelous and I agreed that it's something that we should continue doing regardless. We'll probably have a would have a maybe a couple of topics. We'll have a series, and then we would always use that as like a break in between the different series that we have, and then we'll continue to explore more Bible passages that we've misunderstood or misused, and it will also help us to be able to have context to these Bible passages as well. So I trust everyone had a lovely week. Mavi, I hope you had a lovely week as well.
Yes, I did. My week was filled with a lot of going out, actually, surprisingly for me, because I'm always at home. So it was shocking. I was outside every single day, apart from today, of course. But I was outside every single day, which is surprising. I'm almost never outside my house. So that was a good one for me.
That's good then. That's a good one. That's a good thing. Anyway, that's good to hear. My week was also great. Thank God. I spent it at home most of the time. So opposite of what
The
Mavi
complete
did.
opposite then. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's good. Anyway, today we'll be talking about something that is usually very touchy. If you have a friend, if you have maybe a relationship, even down to family, down to people you don't even know, this particular thing always is a potential danger. It's a very sensitive topic to so many. It's also a very sensitive topic. It's also a topic that could easily, go downhill whenever people have a great relationship or have a great rapport together. Whenever this situation comes up, it can either lead to a fight, or it can either lead to, greed. It can lead to so many things. And I'll just let you guys wonder for like the next 2 seconds, what could she be talking about? Let's just count 1, 2. Well, the topic that we're going to be talking about is money and relationships. So it is like I said, it's something that could cause a fight quickly. It's something that could destroy relationships. It's something that could harm people and cause people to go, the extra mile, to harm somebody just because of money. Money is very sensitive. I've seen people who were best of friends, and just because money comes up, you say, "Oh, help me get this thing, please. I'll give you the money back." Just that can spoil a whole friendship because maybe one person didn't give the money back. Relationships, people can have really good relationships with each other. Like I'm not even talking about platonic relationships. Like you can want to get married to somebody, but the issue of money can be such a big deal. Someone can say, "Oh, I don't believe we should have joint accounts. I believe we should have this." All these type of things contribute to, destroying a relationship. Marvelous, what do you think about that?
Yes, I mean, just listening to what you're saying, I believe that you've got everything right. There's so many things, like, of course, we know relationships are like what eggs, or they're very fragile, and that also means that a lot of different factors can result in it being destroyed or terminated or whatever. And it's just like with egg, fire can destroy an egg, heat, like overheating, can destroy an egg, pressure, enough pressure can squash it down. There's so many things that can affect eggs as well. So that's how I'm trying to look at relationships lately, and it just makes me realize that there's so many things, no matter how little, that can actually ruin relationships. And money it's not little at all. Money is really a big factor. And like you mentioned, even friendships, help me hold on to this money, save this money for me.
I'll
I
give
don't
you
want to
back.
use it. Exactly. When it's in my account, I'll use it. So please help me hold it. And then before you know, oh, sorry, I used it to get something, but I'll give you back next week. And then like that, it ruins a lot of things. So it's definitely something we need to look into as youths as well, how we can affect our own relationships. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Nice. It's nice to hear Marvellous perspective as well. I mean, over the weekend, I was in London with my cousins, so we did discuss this, and it just took me like a split second to realize that money is actually a very touchy subject. People that are dating, courting, in relationships, most times they even leave like money issues to the last, to the end bit for them to discuss, because most times it can cause an issue. We had discussions about, what will you do if you feel like it's this person earns more money than you do, and that and that. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, I don't mind, I don't care about it, but in the actual sense of it, when you're going through it, what would be your passive reaction? Your active reaction is mostly something you've thought about and say, okay, I will do this. But your passive reaction is more like a reaction you didn't even expect yourself to give. But while you are in the situation, you don't even know when you roll your eye. You don't even know when you're like, oh, this person has come again. It's like passive. So I think it would be a lie to say that money does not divide people. In as much as we are trying to foster, and we're trying to make sure we're chasing the money and everything, we should also make sure we check how it affects our relationships with people. I mean, the Bible was so right when it said the love of money is the root of all evil. Like, breaking that down alone makes you think, oh, someone can go the extra mile just to, that's where envy starts from. That's where jealousy starts from. And like we said last week, when you were talking about your misconception, the Bible passage, the misconception of that Bible passage you talked about in Matthew 7, when he talked about the fact that, just you envying somebody, you mentioned something about envy can lead to hate, and hate can lead to evil things and stuff like that. It's the same here as well. Everything starts small and can lead big. I think one question we should then try to answer or see is, how then can we, maybe after the break we're going to talk about that, but how then do we handle money and relationships, be it friendship, be it because these are like two factors. You can't say like your relationship is dependent on money, or your money is dependent on your relationship, but they do affect each other one way or the other. So how then do we deal with relationships? How then do we deal with the issue of money and relationships? So now when it comes, I think for us to better answer these questions, we need to break down the different kinds of relationships, I'm guessing. Or what do you think? Like,
I think we can pick some out of them and talk about it.
Like between a mother and her daughter. I'm not saying all mothers do that, disclaimer to everybody that is listening, but say you collect money from your child and say, oh, give me that money, I'll give it back to you
I'll give
at
it
this
back to
certain time.
you.
I'll give it back
It
to
never
you,
happens,
and
does
then
it?
you don't, but you keep doing it. It's more like, oh, I'm not with my money here, just pay this one, I'll pay it back to you. Do you get what I mean? And you keep doing it, but you're just instilling this. It's there because you're going to remember, oh, my money is this person, so she will give me back. And that's where our words come in. Like, we have to be like, I will give this person. I'd rather somebody ask me for something and say, can I have this, than for you to say, oh, can you lend me this? I will give you back.
Yeah.
I'd rather you ask me to give you the
It's
money.
better to just say, oh, I'll can you give me this money, and then I take it off my mind, rather than
Yes,
having at the back of my mind that someone
exactly.
is returning money back to me. So
Yeah.
that's something we definitely need to talk about.
Yeah. So like as younger people, how do we deal with these things? How do we not allow money issues affect our relationships? How do we not allow money issues destroy relationships that have already been built for a long time? I think it's also been nice to have somebody as well, on the show, and we'll talk about it. Maybe give examples of how money issues have almost destroyed the relationship that they had, and also how they were able to navigate that situation as well. So yeah. Before we answer that question, we are going to go on a quick break. And by the time we're back, we'll be talking about, how can we handle our relationships with regards to money? How do we handle how we relate with people with regards to money, be it like work relationships, friendships, um, marriage relationship, because husband and wives actually fight because of money as well.
Yes.
Which is something that people don't talk about as much, but it does happen. So when we come back, we'll be discussing that. So we're just going to go on a quick break
Hi,
now.
my name is Marvellous.
And
I'm Seun. Join us every
see you
Friday at
soon.
2 o'clock on Youth Today as we delve into youth affairs and lifestyle today. We look forward to sharing with you.
Ali, Giovanni again. Acclaim Enterprises. It's a brand new one. Hallelujah, repete. Hosanna, repete. Hallelujah, repete. Atewo, repete. Hallelujah, repete. Hosanna, repete. Hallelujah, repete. Atewo, repete. Hallelujah, repete. Hosanna, repete. Hallelujah, repete. Atewo, repete. I am the chosen one. I've come to praise the Lord. Devil won't make a fall, but Jesus make me tall. I stand like Zuma rock upon the solid rock, and even if I fall, I'm rising to the top. I stand giddy back, giddy back, giddy back, giddy back, giddy back, giddy back, giddy back. I stand giddy back, giddy back, giddy back. Don't touch the dial.
Hi, my name is Marvellous. And I'm Seun. Join us every Friday at 2 o'clock on Youth Today as we delve into youth affairs and lifestyle today. We look forward to sharing with you.
Welcome back, guys. So we have just been talking about our new topic. Seun has done a very good job of introducing it. And of course, we'll be talking about money and relationships. And this will be the first part. And hopefully, of course, no promises, but hopefully by the second part, we'll have guests on the show to just or a guest on the show to just join us and give their own differing opinions about it. So without further ado, let's go into what we're supposed to be doing next. So we'll be answering the question like how exactly do we balance these things, and where do like different people come in the sense of whether it's the lender or it's the borrower, whether it's the husband or it's the wife, whether it's the mother or it's the children, like where exactly does everyone come in, just to make sure that our relationships are not jeopardized because of money. Okay, so that brings me to my first point. How do we go about this? Okay, first of all, the Bible says, permit me to just use Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. The Bible says, let marriage be in honor amongst all things. Let marriage be honorable. Other versions will say, let marriage be honorable. And then it'll go on to say the bed undefiled and all that. But we're not getting to that point now. I just want to pick out that honorable bit. Something that is honorable means it's commendable. It means that despite, whatever challenges they faced or whatever difficulties they've experienced, they come out victorious. It doesn't affect that person or that relationship, to the point where they come out and it's like they're defeated completely by all their problems and all their situations. So the Bible, just as we're hearing from Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4, God desires that the marriage be honorable, which means no matter what the husband or the wife, no matter what that particular relationship, that particular union is going through, they must always come out victorious. They must always come out honorable. That's what that Bible is trying to tell us. Marriage must remain honorable. Now that's for marriage bit. I believe that not even money problems should cause a family to fall apart. As we were mentioning earlier, money is, I feel like it's something that we're not really talking about a lot, but we need to not just the basic teachings about love and all those things. Love can only do so much, okay? But when it comes to actually being in the relationship, love covers all things. Like it's everything. It's just like being a master of everything, and being a jack of all trade and a master of none. So that's what love is, in a sense. It covers all areas, all aspects. However, there are certain ones that love alone cannot, cover. Love alone cannot be victorious. You need prudence, you need respect, you need submission, you need what else? You need knowledge, you need wisdom to aid love in those areas. So whether it's a relationship with friends, or it's a relationship among siblings, or it's a relationship between parents and child, or a relationship between lovers, it doesn't matter which relationship it is. Love alone is not enough to secure that relationship. It is necessary. You can't build a relationship without love. It is important that love be present. However, love needs to be aided by other factors, other qualities to keep that relationship going. Now, that brings me to the money bit. So when it comes to money, I think some of the qualities that we need to aid love when it comes to money in whatever relationship is prudence, like I mentioned earlier. And prudence is basically just knowing how to use stuff, knowing how to go about your usage of money, knowing how to be smart while spending, knowing how to be smart when it comes to your finances. That's just basically what prudence is in layman's terms. So that's prudence needs to come in when it comes to money. Then also management, like management knowledge. You need to know how to manage your money. You need to know how to manage your money. And then I think when it comes to money problems, relationship as well, we need forgiveness. You really need to learn how to let go, because you come from two different environments. And I also believe that everybody agrees with me, including Seun. You come from two different families, two different backgrounds with completely different training. And it applies to friends as well. Both of you don't come from the same family. So you have different upbringing. And that means that, you've been trained on how to use your money differently. So we need to be ready to forgive, because it's not all the time that, the man is going to save as much as you. It's not all the time that the woman is going to spend as much as the man. There's going to be a difference between the way that these two have learned how to manage money over time. And I think together, what you need is just forgiveness, because there'll be a time where you'll be like, in this, maybe you open the joint account with your partner and you're like, in this joint account, I'm the only one putting money. I've been the only one since 3 years ago. What's happening? But I think, like I said, sometimes you just need to be ready to let go. And then the other person now needs to learn how to be prudent in their spending so that such problems don't arise. And like Seun rightly mentioned earlier, marriages collapse due to money problems. Like men hiding money away from their wives, women hiding a particular source of income from their husbands. For example, a woman knows how to trade. She's learned how to trade online, and she's been trading without the knowledge of husband, and she's keeping the money that she gets and the profits to herself alone. And the man just finds out someday and is like, really now? Is this what we're doing? Or the man gets a credit card or something and he's been spending out the credit card. And then one day, all of a sudden, they realize that they're in debts of thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars. It's caused a lot of marriages to fall. And that is why we need to be trusting of each other, which means whatever it is that you're using your money. Now, I'm talking from the marriage and relationship / lovers perspective, of course. Whatever, be open to each other about your sources of income. I've always said to people that it's good to have multiple sources of income. Make sure that you don't put all your money in one particular bank. I don't know how that works, but don't make sure that all your resources don't go into only one stream of income. Let there be multiple streams of income. It's very important. That way, even if one collapses tomorrow due to something, the other one still keeps you going, right? So as a husband or as a wife, if you have multiple sources of income, please, let's be open to our partners. You might feel like, no, that money is mine. I worked for it, but no one is arguing that with you. Your money is yours, but it's just, as you guys are married now, you've become one flesh, right? So let's make sure that we're open to each other, tell each other where we got our money from. Okay, so I've spoken too much. I'll leave some time for Seun to actually talk as well. So Seun, when it comes to so Seun, when it comes to friendship now, because I've spoken from like the lovers, partners, couples perspective. When it comes to friendship now, how do you think people should balance it? What qualities are required?
I feel like in every sort of relationship, whether platonic, romantic, whatever it is, understanding is always key. Yes. Like you said, understanding that both parties are from different upbringings, different trainings, from different sides of the world. So they view different things differently. The way you view money is not the same way another person views money. Somebody might respect money and respect the ethics of you give me, I give you back, or we need to be open and transparent to each other. Some people don't have those values. Should you then be taking advantage of that because of that? No. I mean, sometimes all you need to do is speak up about it, not muster it in. Let the person know that, oh, I gave you this because you told me you give, and I respect it when people say, you give me this, I give you back. Or in our friendship, we should be more transparent in our dealings or transactions with each other. Sometimes I've noticed that is all it takes. Sometimes just to speak up to the other person, because the person might have no clue, or the person might have forgotten and say, I don't know about this and stuff like that. But sometimes speaking up about it also helps. So understanding, speaking up about it, and also being able to let go. There's something my mom told me about a few years ago. I used to be this person that if I give you something, I hold on to your words a lot. So I hold on to it. So my mom told me that you're just going to keep putting yourself in wrong situations. If there's something that you can't let go of, don't give it. For whatever you're giving, especially when it comes to money, have it at the back of your mind that you can let go of this thing. Meaning, if it doesn't come back to me, I can forfeit it. Or I'm giving this person because of this. And another thing we need to learn how to do is also be open and transparent about things. Like I said, if someone comes to you, I'm your friend Marvellous, I ask you, Blessing, Marvellous, I need 200 pounds. And that's all you have. You can say, oh, Blessing, I don't know if I'll be able to give you the whole of the 200. But now, all I can afford to give you is 100. Is that okay for you? And knowing you're giving that 100 in a sense of, if that 100 doesn't come back to me, it's fine.
Absolutely. I support that point. Wow. It just reminded me of something that happened when was it, about 2 or 3 years ago, and someone asked me like, oh, I need some amount of money, if I get back, when I get back on my feet, I'll give it back to you. So I asked them, how much is it exactly that you're wanting? And what they asked for at that time was about, let's see, like 40% of my income at the time. So I was like, oh, that's tough. But I thought about it and I was like, okay, if I give this person this money, can I actually let go of it? Because they're telling me now when they get back on their feet. I don't know when they'll get back on their feet. We don't know that. So I had to think about it really carefully. And in the end, I told the person, I can't give you like the full, because that's like 50% of what I earn. So I can't give you the full thing, but I can give you about, let's say, 30% of what I earn instead. And then you can find the remaining money to just add to it. And I knew that if I let go of 30% at the time, I would be fine. I won't need I won't need the money.
You won't put yourself in a
come.
situation where you
Yes.
still need to. Yeah, I mean, that's important. And one last thing, I feel like whenever situations of money has escalated beyond what it should be like in a relationship, one thing you can always trust to do is to pray for guidance and wisdom from God. It always helps. God searches the intents and the hearts of people. He can turn the hearts of people, anyway. So what you need to do is make sure that you're always praying for guidance and wisdom and leading of the Holy Spirit. We've spent so much time already talking about this that we didn't even know.
Yeah.
So next week we'll be back again and we'll be continuing. But for now, we're gonna have to cut it short and keep it sweet and short as usual. And thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Mavi, for your wonderful, wonderful contribution. I mean, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Coming from someone that is not married, guys, Marvellous is filled with wisdom. Thank you. Anyway, I hope everyone has a lovely weekend. We'll see you again next week. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platform. Don't forget to send in your questions. And also, if you need to engage with us on social media on AP Radio UK, please don't forget. Thank you so much for everything, for following us over the last few weeks. And God bless everyone. Have a lovely, lovely week. For myself,
have a lovely week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. The Lord's mercy. The Lord's kindness never fails. His mercies are new every morning. It's of the Lord's mercy we are not consumed. Great is your faithfulness all around us. Every day I wake up, Lord, I see your blessing. Everywhere I go, your favor follows me.